So what you're hearing right now is being recorded with the Sony ECM-XYST1M microphone with the Sony a6000. I had to look because there's no actual name for this microphone. This vlog that you're watching right now is to mainly test out the microphone because, as you guys know, the a6000 does not have a microphone input jack, so your choices for better sounding audio is actually very limited. So how the mic is connected is actually through the hot shoe on top of your camera, which Sony calls the multi-interface shoe, which this tech is actually pretty darn cool. You would need a cable to use the Sony ECM-XYST1M microphone like you would with the Rode microphones. But there's a drawback to this technology. You can't actually control the audio level. Not that you could anyways with the Sony a6000. But if you were using the Sony mic with the Sony a6300, a6500, a7R2, cameras that are higher and newer than the Sony a6000, then you could connect a cable to the Sony mic to your camera and manually adjust the audio level. But at that point, I would just actually recommend buying a Rode microphone. But for the Sony a6000 users, this may be the best option that you got. Alright, so right now I have the microphone detached just so you can hear the difference from earlier, and it gives me a good excuse to show off the mic on camera. So you only have two options right here, normal and low cut, which I would just recommend leaving at low cut. Now I don't know if you guys noticed earlier, but there was a bit of a white noise slash hissing noise when I was talking earlier, whatever you want to call it. But for whatever reason, when this mic connects to the Sony a6000, it raises the auto gain circuit. So with the a6000, there's already an auto gain circuit, but for whatever reason, putting this on, I wouldn't say it doubles, but it definitely, it's definitely raised for sure. Now, I'm not much of an audio guy, so please take this next bit with a grain of salt. So to my understanding, the auto gain circuit is like the autofocus of audio. It constantly monitors the sound that comes into the camera, so when it detects that it's too loud, it will lower the recording level so the audio doesn't peak. But when it gets too quiet, it will raise the audio level, which is our problem right there. So that's why you might have heard the white noise slash hissing noise from earlier when I was talking. It's because it thinks it's too quiet here. And we'll definitely run some tests outside later just to see what it sounds like, but for now, leave it on low cut. I find that it helps with the issue just a little bit. And on the other side, you have the mic out, and this is for connecting to a cable to the camera that I was mentioning to you guys earlier, and this is going to be great for when you guys do plan on upgrading to a newer Sony camera that has the mic input. That way you can just reuse this mic without having to reinvest in a new mic. Which I guess now is a good time to give you guys that comparison. Right now I have the microphone on top of the a6500 and I plugged it into the mic input and I set the audio recording level to 12. So I'll keep recording with this setup as I show you guys some B-roll. So what's interesting about this is that you can adjust the mics in front right here. You can make it directional so it's pointed towards you or a subject that is speaking in front of the camera. You can also adjust these so it can pick up sound 120 degrees. This may be ideal if you're capturing ambient sound or location sound. So I have the mic now plugged back to the Sony a6000. I'm going to turn on my AC that's behind the camera right now just to see what it sounds like. Alright, so the AC now is in full blast. We'll see what that sounds like. But in just a few, I'll take the Sony a6000 with the microphone to go outside and see what it sounds like outdoors. Now, there's something that I haven't yet mentioned yet, and that is the shock mount. Cut to me shaking the camera like a madman. The shock mount is this rubbery suspension thing which helps minimize unwanted vibrations or handling noise. It's going to help with vlogging and run and gun filming. Alright, so now we're recording with the a6000 without a mic. This is all with the on-camera mic right now, just so you guys can hear what it's like without the microphone. And since we're outside, there's a bit of wind right now. I put on a little dead cat for the Sony mic right here, so it should help minimize any sort of wind noise. Alright, so now I have the mic attached to the Sony a6000. Let me know what you guys think. I also shot some clips from a mock vlogging scenario, which I'll play in just a bit, but there will be no music. It'll just be pure sound so you guys can judge for yourself. But before we do, I just realized I forgot to intro this video. What's going on, hybrid shooters? It's Jason Vong, and if you're looking for a mic solution for your Sony a6000, then I think the Sony ECM-XYST1M just may be the solution for you. Remember, you don't have a whole lot of options out there because not a lot of mics uses the multi-interface shoe, so your choices are very limited, but I'll link the one that I featured in this video in the description box below, as well as a few others that are compatible with the Sony a6000. And if you found this video incredibly helpful, I would super greatly appreciate it if you guys could buy any of the mics via the Amazon links down below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but a little bit of what you pay for will come back to me to help me continue growing this YouTube channel and keep making more awesome Sony Alpha content such as this one. But if you don't like what you heard earlier but like what you're hearing right now, check out this alternative mic solution. It requires syncing in post-production later with the footage that you shot with the a6000, but what you get out of it will be a lot better in my opinion. Alright, self-plug's over, let's take a look at this vlog that I shot. We're here at Sammy's today because Sigma's having a demo day for their 24-70 f2.8, which a lot of people are excited for. And they also have the 14 lens. I'm more interested in trying out the 24-70, so we're gonna run some tests with the A7R2 and the MC11 adapter, which I just updated last night. So it's the latest firmware. The lenses are also the latest firmware as well. So let's take a look.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Sony Cameras.
Yeah. So it's
Not used to using a lens that's a prime. That means I can't zoom in or out. So it's just either 35 millimeter, maybe a 14 millimeter. Maybe it's more narrow, like a 55 or an 85. But let's see which one of those they recommend for maybe shooting, selfie style video, and to shoot video for others, since I've been doing a lot of that lately. Into like interior design or that venue stuff. I do love the way it looks though, the way it blows out of the back. It's a way better perspective than what I understand.
so if you're okay with just
They, a lot of them focus extremely close. Like you saw with the 24-70, you could focus up to about 6 or 7 inches in front of the lens. Same thing, the 14, the 20, those can all go within like 2 or 3 inches of the front of the lens. So that way, if there's a low contrast situation or a low light situation and the camera can't exactly tell where the focus is, it'll just keep going back and forth. This way, when you limit the amount of area searching, it locks on.
So, how was your Sigma experience?
Dude, I had an amazing experience because I got to try out these different lenses that I've been dying to try out. Last time I came, the people were kind of like, I don't want to pull everything out. This time everything was already out. That made it nice to use. And I got to use the proper Metabones adapter. It's kind of sad though, because since I'm shooting with Panasonic lens, the Panasonic body, the autofocus is kind of tricky, I guess, for me. But maybe when I jump over to Sony, then I won't have those issues, right? So overall, super great. I'm glad I came.
Make the switch.
Not a paid sponsored advertisement, by the way. They just make good quality glass. They're heavy, they're solid, and they also look super cool. And they're only about $1,000. I think I said that already, but you know what I mean. Save money. They buy 2 lenses for the price of 1, maybe even 3 lenses for the price of 1. Right? That's it. Cut it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shooting a video where I'm testing out this microphone right here, the Sony ECM. I'm not gonna be able to say the name before this snap ends.